Hello and welcome to my channel, Making Crafts. Today we are going to be creating butterfly pockets, butterfly tags, and different little butterfly ephemera. So I've gone ahead and created some collage for this, and I've also created a sheet for you. You can download it if you need the butterfly images for your cutouts, if you want to follow along with me. So the sheet that you'll receive will be a PDF, and it will have, and it's free, and it will have these larger butterflies, and then we'll have another sheet with it where you get smaller butterflies if you need those as your stencils or cutouts or whatever. I'll show you different ways we're going to use them today. So I've just printed out the larger ones, and I'm going to start with those. Also, I've gone ahead and cut out, I took this one, I printed it again, well, no, this one, and I've just backed it with some thicker paper. So this was a book page, but it was really thick book page. So that way I can trace around this one if I want to. And then I've gone ahead and cut some of these out. So the way I cut them out is I cut them really close to the edge, but I'm not fussy cutting them out yet. We want to keep them some of that white edge. It'll make it easier when we go to, because we're going to have to cut them again. And so then I've created some collage. So I have different pieces of collage here. Some were created months ago. Some I created today. I created this one today. And then, let me set these aside. These are some digitals. And then here's another collage that I printed today. And on my collages, I've gone through and I've really decorated them up. I've stamped them, and then I've added a lot of different images on them. Like this one is very busy if it was going to be standing on its own, but it's not. We're going to cut it up. So I've added a lot of images, so when we cut it up, there's a lot of colors in it. I'm going to start out by taking one of my masterboard collages, and I'm just going to flip it over to the back side. So I'm not going to choose where each butterfly goes. That's the fun thing about this project. It's a surprise. Each one is a surprise for you when you flip it over, and it's a lot of fun to create these and the surprises that you get. And that's why you do want to use collages where you've added a lot of decoration, because if you didn't, they're going to be a little plain. But if that's what you have, that's no big deal either. You can always go back and add more decorations to your butterflies. So I'm just going to glue down some of the butterflies that I printed out, but I'm also going to trace around the butterfly that I've already created, adding it to some thicker paper and creating a little stencil here to trace around. So I'll trace around some and I'll glue down some. And so if you don't like to print out digitals, you could just draw your own butterfly. You could also, if you've got like a coloring book or something that has butterflies in it, you could cut one out from that. Just look around and see what you can find with the butterfly shape, or draw your own, because you're just wanting the outline of a butterfly. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. I did this digital just to make it quicker and easier. I'm not really crazy about drawing. I don't do a lot of drawing. So for me, this was the more fun way for me to do it. So do whatever you like though. And if you drew them, each one could be different. You could draw one, cut it out, and use it as a stencil, or you could just draw each one freehand and it would be a different one. So here are the ones that I've created so far, and I'm just showing you when you flip them over the surprise that you see. And I love how these turned out. They are so pretty. Just all of the different papers come together to create some beautiful little butterflies. And most of them, you can see, have lots of decoration on them. I think they turned out really gorgeous. Now this one's a little plain. I might want to add a decoration to it, or like this one, it's very plain, so I probably will add something to it. It depends on what journal it's going in. I've gone ahead and inked around this one, and I'm going to create a tag with this one. So I'm just going to punch a hole in the upper little corner of its wing, and I'm adding an eyelet. Now if you don't have eyelets or an eyelet setter, then just punch a hole and add your ribbon to that. So what I'm using now is an eyelet setter by Fiskars, and I really like this one better than the one by We Are Memory Keepers, because when I go to squeeze that one, I struggle with getting my eyelet set and looking really good. But with the, and you can see I had started it with the We Are Memory Keepers, and if you've seen on the back of it, it was a little rough looking, and that was why, because I just couldn't get it right. So I come back in with my Fiskars, and now I've added a little bit of ribbon, and then I've hung a little charm on the edge. Now for the next one, I've gone ahead and inked around it again as well, but this time I'm going to punch the hole in the center, and I'm just going to use my Fiskars to do that. So one end of the Fiskars setter has the hole punch, and then the other end is your eyelet setter. Now you want to be sure to put it on a cutting board that if you get this, be sure to put it on something that you don't treasure. So I don't want to cut up my black mat, so I just bought these from the Dollar Tree, these little green mats, and I just used that with my setter. So then when you flip it over to your center part, this is what I really like about this one. You can take your time, but you can see that it really turns out really smooth and nice, and it doesn't bust up the little eyelet. So now I'm going to just add some ribbon to the center, and you can see on the left-hand side, I've already completed that one, and now I've come in with another one. And I love how the ribbon looks in the center of these. It looks like the little butterfly's antenna, or what do you call those? They're little fillers. I can't think of the right name tonight, but you know what I'm talking about. So I really love how that looks, especially on these little butterflies. If you trim down the ribbon, it just looks like you've added in that little piece. And so I added the yellow ribbon to this one, and the other one I added pink ribbon, and I really love how that looks, and I think it looks so cute on there. So I think that's going to make a pretty little tag, and then I like this style tag as well with the charm hanging on the edge. So my next project with these butterflies and what they were intended for were for pockets. That's why I made them so large. I wanted them to be pockets in my journal. So I'm just going through and trying to figure out which butterfly looks best on this page. And this is a journal that I am working on. And this one is the one from Bontic Designs. I'll have to link below to this one, to this kit that I'm using for this one. I will be working on this journal in a video soon, but I'm going ahead and adding things to it right now because I wanted to show you how the butterflies could be added to a journal and how I intended them to be. And I think it's going to be very pretty in a journal. So I'm just adding a little bit of glue around the bottom of the wing, and then I'm just coming up the side of the wing as well towards the top so that we can create a little pocket. And you'll just put little journaling cards in here or little tags. Different little things could fit in these pockets. So here's a little journaling card that could go in the pocket, and then I'm just showing you here, you could put a little piece of paper in the pocket. There's just different little ways, things that you could add to these. So if you wanted to, you could have things sticking up even higher, or things that smaller that fit down into your butterfly. So I think this is going to be really cute in the journal. So for the next one, it's another journal that I'm working on. So I chose one of the butterflies that had some of the purple in the flower, and I'm just going to ink around it as well. I think when you ink around these, it really frames them out. And so you can tell this is the pattern butterfly that I like best. I gave you two different options in the printout, but my favorite is this design. I really wasn't sure which one was going to be my favorite until I started working with them. But as you can tell, I make more things with this one in this video because that is my favorite. The other one is nice, but you know, you have favorites sometimes when you're working with things. So for this pocket now, I'm just going to put it down on my page at a slant or kind of wonky, kind of like the butterflies just landed. I think that's another way that you could use them. I really liked how that looked. And so you can see here, here's a little journaling card from this digital kit that I'm putting in there to show you. It could fit, or you could even use a little larger one. It's really up to you what you want to put in it. And so I have these flowers that I have cut out using some dies, and these were from another project I was working on, and they were extra flowers that were left over. So I thought they would look really cute on the center of the butterfly, but this pink is a little bit too bright for this journal. So what I'm doing is I'm just coming in with some purple ink, and I'm just going to ink up this flower so that it is more purple than pink. So this die is a die from In Love Arts, and I will link it below. I really like this die set. It comes with 3 different types of flowers, and they're really easy to put together. And so I enjoy creating these flowers. I think it's a fun little thing to create when you are really not crafty and just wanting to do something, make something. These are fun to put together. So here's the flower that I created. It comes in 3 different sizes, but I just used this size and I cut out 2 and layered them together. And here are a few more of the flowers that come in that die set, and then there's some that look like daisies in the set. So I love just sitting making these up, like I said before, and so these though I was making for another project, and since they were left over, I just put them in the envelope with the dies so when I needed them I could find them. And so I love how this looks. I think it really dresses up the butterfly. So now I'm going to create another page, and so this one I'm going to use tea stained paper, and this one so that you can make up pages like this ahead of time. If you're not working on a journal, then add it to some tea stained paper and make up a few, and that way when you go to make journals, you can just add these pages to your journal. So what I'm going to do though is I know that this one is going in a journal that I'm working on that has a lot of pinks and reds in it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just stamp up this page that the butterfly is going on, just to change it up a little bit, add a little bit more something to the journal page. So I'm just coming in with some light pink ink and my script stamp. And I know it's really hard to see on camera. You can see this more in person, but still at the same time, it is very faint. And that's what I wanted it to be, very faint, not to stand out too much. And so what I'm just doing is I'm just going around the edge at the top, the bottom, and the side, and just adding the script to my paper. And then I'm going to come in with another background stamp from the same stamp set, and I will link this stamp set below as well. It's very inexpensive. And so it has a lot of little background stamps in it, and I really love this one. I use it quite a bit. So I'm going to just add a little bit of this, and this stamp makes me think of older wallpaper. And so I'm just going to stamp around with it. Now the edges on it is quite straight. So once I get through stamping, I'm going to come back in with my script stamp and kind of soften the edges where I stamped previously with the other background stamp, just to soften it up a bit. And then this is another little background stamp in the stamp set. So I'm just going to add it to the other side of the page. And I kind of flip it different directions just to change up the pattern, so that there's not a set pattern that you see in it. So you'll see me stamp it all different directions. But the great thing about this background stamp is that it really doesn't have a direction that you have to stamp it. So now that I have my page all stamped up, I'm going to add my butterfly to it. And I've gone ahead and inked around this butterfly already. So I'm going to attach this one once again, just gluing around the edges of the wings. And then I will put this one on the page at a slant as well. I kind of like the slant look better than the straight up and down, but the straight up and down was nice too. But I love how this looks at a slant, like the butterflies just landed. So I'm going to add that to the page, and then you can see here a journaling card would fit just fine in it. I think this one needs a flower as well, so I'm just going to pull those flowers out again that I have created. Here is another one, the pink ones, which looks really pretty with this paper, but I think that the darker one will probably look better with the papers that's going to be in this journal. So I'm just going to pull out this burgundy one and add it to the butterfly instead. Let's take a look at all of the butterflies that we've created. So we have this page that we just finished, and then our little purple page, and then we also have our turquoise page that we've done. And I may add a little something to the center of this butterfly later on. I'm not really sure. But I really love these. I can see lots more butterfly pockets in my future. I don't know why I haven't thought of this before. I absolutely love butterflies, and so I've created quite a few of these. I've cut them out and I have them ready to go in other journals. So I'm just going to put them in my ephemera box, and when I'm creating journals, I'll go through it and find one that actually works with the journal that I'm working with. And then this tag I'm in love with as well. I love the little charm hanging on it. Now this little butterfly is quite large, and it's too large to actually put on a page. So even if you slant it, you'd have to put it on the page that direction in order for it to work. But I'm going to go ahead and leave it in the digital, because I think that you could use it to sew it into the center of a page, and you may come up with other ways to use it. And so here are other two tags that we created. I hope that you have enjoyed watching me create these, and hopefully they've inspired you to get out your masterboard collages or get out some paper and start collaging and create some butterflies. Let me know below if you enjoy this type of video. I really enjoy creating these, and so I hope that you've enjoyed it as well. Don't forget to like and subscribe. If you're liking my content, be sure to subscribe so you can see more of my videos. And thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.